Do you wake up feeling exhausted and wet? Or do you see pregnancy and children in your dreams? Do you wake up feeling someone has slept with you before a major contract or breakthrough? Then here is the solution to your problems. Rev Francis Yalley's new book titled Sleeping with an Enemy blends intense spirituality with basic life principles to deal with these problems that confront the children of God. Watch out for copies in a shop near you.
So once again, you're welcome to Repairers Moment. Reverend, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bossy.
I have known you for some time, and at least I can talk about some of the wonderful things that, you as a person, brought to bear in my life. I wouldn't say everything now, but today, the most important thing on our agenda, spiritual marriage. You want to tell me what is a spiritual marriage? We know about marriage that people go to the church, a pastor prays for you, and blesses, and you are on, man. You are into a different way of life and all that. In this case, you're talking about spiritual marriage. Yeah. Does it exist at all? What is it?
Spiritual marriage is when a person has a dream. That is when one sleeps and has a dream that somebody, a known human being, unknown, or an animal is having intimacy or sex with the person, be it male or female. But most of people call it spiritual marriage, but I love to prefer calling it sleeping with an enemy. And why? Because if you call it spiritual marriage, you limit the weight behind it, because you just don't get up and get married. There are processes that one has to go through. I mean, the lobby is all part of the process of getting married. Sex is supposed to be between you and somebody you love, somebody you treasure, somebody you want to spend your life for. God intends it to be between somebody who's going to be your helpmate, based on Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. God said, I need to get a man, a partner, so that you be a helpmate for the person. But in this case, the person who is having sex with you spiritually is not for your good, but the person is for your harm. So it's like item is sleeping with an enemy.
So the person is your enemy. More or less. All right, so sleeping with an enemy, or sleeping with your enemy. So that's the first stage of it.
The first stage is, you see, the Bible, actually, in the Bible, there are stages where we can find spiritual marriage in it. In Genesis chapter 6, we want to see, find out that the angels in heaven saw that the daughters on earth were very beautiful. Yeah. And they were in heaven, they looked down on earth and they said that these men were beautiful. And so the angels had to come down and then have intercourse with these women. Yeah. And these things have not stopped. These same demons looks at other males or females, looking at who they are, and so wants to have intimacy with them. I mean, it happened in Genesis, and it still happened after Revelation.
That's interesting.
You see, the reason why I call it, like I said, spiritual sleeping with an enemy is because, one, there's the first stage, which is called a spiritual engagement. And by the spiritual engagement, what I mean is that is when you sleep and you're having a dream. God speaks to us in true dream, based on even Job chapter 33, verse 15. That was in the night when men sleep, God talks to us. When you sleep and you realize that somebody wants to have an affair with you, somebody is trying to, but the person might not succeed. Whereas that is the coaxing period. The person is trying to lure you into a relationship. I call it the spiritual engagement. Then you come to the...
But he has not engaged you yet.
Now,
the spiritual rap.
Yeah. The person is trying to find a way of having intimacy with you.
Getting close to you.
That people are like, oh, it's normal. And I remember those days in school when you get up and you realize that you enjoy it. It's better than even going to con a lady and enjoying with a lady. Then you move to the next day, which is the real spiritual marriage. That is when you have a dream that somebody is really making love to you, or you are making love to somebody. And there, either you have control over it, or you are participating, or you don't have any control over it. And sometimes people get up and then they are wet, like they really had sex with somebody. And sometimes during this stage, it leads to so many things, which I think we'll be talking about later. Then we go to the next stage, which is the spiritual family. That's why I say if you call it spiritual marriage, you limit it. Spiritual family.
So,
so the spiritual engagement to the spiritual marriage, to the spiritual family. This is the stage whereby you have a dream. Like in this dream, you see yourself with either you are pregnant as a lady, or you see a baby sucking your breast, or you see a baby at your back, or you keep seeing children in your dreams. You have not, because normally if a man and a woman is to make love, what do you expect? You expect family, you expect pregnancy, and after pregnancy, children. So if there's the engagement, then of course there is the marriage, and after the marriage, there is the spiritual family. All these things have causes and effects. Then,
just before you continue, I mean, your reference points had continually been in the dreams and the dreams. Is there any other way that one can, identify some of these things as, having been married spiritually?
Yeah, I think there are so many ways you can find out, because when you have some of this things happening, you realize that either spiritual marriage, the spiritual family, or the spiritual engagement, and so on, you realize that things will not be going on very well in your life, like one in relationship or in your physical marriages. Or in childbirth. Now, so maybe you might not be seeing any of these signs, you might not be having any of these dreams.
The dreams.
But the fact that if you see any smoke going up, that's fire burning under. So the fact that there is disappointment, there is promise and fail. That disappointment, like men will propose or women will propose, and yet no marriage comes on, or you get pregnant and you always have miscarriage, or you have cases of cancer, or
maybe we'll come to the details of those things.
All these things, there are symptoms for you to know that there is something burning within your spirit. So apart from the spiritual family, we move to what I term the rape of the spirit, of your spirit. This is when you have a dream like somebody is forcing to make love to you, though you don't want to. And most of it, this thing happens when after maybe the person might have gone through deliverance or have been prayed for, or might have gone through self-deliverance, and you realize that this time the spirit doesn't have access to you again. So the spirit has to use force. Where persuasion feels, force is applied. So the spirit has to use force to either make love to you or something. Then the last one is which is the fifth one, is when you don't have any of these dreams, like you said earlier, and yet you are going through some disappointments, setbacks, and so on and so forth, or childlessness.
I am in conversation with Reverend F.D. Yalley. So, Reverend, what you have just said this moment is that, instead of saying like spiritual marriage, there are steps to it. So, at least you have categorized, it in different forms.
Each one has its own level, and each one has its own courses.
Now, you just finished, at least with the levels and all that. Maybe a little exposition when a person is really married spiritually.
You want us to stress on the spiritual marriage.
Exactly. When a person is really married spiritually, there is the engagement, there is the marriage, and family level. Of course, the family level, it means that children are coming inside. All right. So this is it. Now you want to let's dwell a bit on the marriage itself. The marriage has now been consummated.
Now, when you get to the place of where you have dreamed that somebody is sleeping with you, which is very common. Most often, the doctors, what I would say, what I would term a demon, the doctor will call a germ. What? You see, everybody has
a virus.
Like you are Ni Abose, and in the Twi language.
Oh, you managed to call my name.
In the Twi language, we wouldn't have called you Ni Abose. We would have called you Nana Abose. But that doesn't make a difference. So what the scientists will call a germ, that is their terminology. The pastor will not call a germ, but will call a demon. So now,
does that case apply, in all circles? In
most circles, we see Jesus said, the Bible said, spiritual things are spiritually discerned. You cannot use the carnal mind to discern spiritual things. That's why there's no need to argue with someone who does not understand spiritual things. Because somebody will say, how can you say it's the demon that caused an accident? How can you say a demon can cause an accident? And I would say that a demon can easily cause an accident because they say it's the negligence of the driver. Yeah. The Holy Ghost speaks to me. In my house, sometimes I can leave the tap flowing. And the Holy Ghost say, Francis, go and put up the tap. Now, the Holy Ghost made me not to let my bills either go high up or to also help me to make sure that my house doesn't get flooded. In that same way, the demons can also influence me to let the tap flow and still not be bothered.
So that you owe a lot of water bills
and so forth.
So you are saying that nothing happens in the back end.
Happens in this world.
Nothing happens. Everything that happens has a cause, either from the evil spirit or the Holy Spirit.
See, man is not just a body. Man is a spirit living in a body. No matter how good a car is, if your engine is bad, the car will not move. So Jesus said, whatever I see my Father do, that is what I also do. So Jesus was man in the flesh, was fleshly, but he had a spirit in living of the Spirit of God living in him. But he was not doing what his flesh wanted to do, but he did what he saw the Father. That's why he said, I and the Father are one. And one day God came on earth and said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. In other words, he does not do what his flesh wants him to do, but he does what his spirit does. And the spirit controls the flesh does not control the spirit. It's the engine that controls the body of the car. The body of the car does not control the engine.
Espousing very, very, very profound. What is this, man? So, I mean, people, you are listening to us. Nothing happens in the vacuum, says Reverend Rev Yalley. We have some scriptural backings to this.
Yeah. Let me give you a very frank. I was talking to one religious man. I don't want to mention the religion.
Okay.
For me, it was like, you Christians, you talk about God the Father, God the Son being one, and it's not true. How can you have, if Jesus was on earth, how can he be God? Why? They said, Jesus said, I and my Father are one. So they were one. So like Jesus said, I am a Father, my body and my spirit makes one. And the guy was arguing with me seriously. I said, let me just come to your world. And I asked him, do you dream? He said, yes. I said, if you dream, who do you see in your dream? He said, I see myself walking, doing that. I said, who is also lying on the bed?
Okay.
He said, it's the same me lying on the bed. I said, how can you be in your dream and still be lying on the bed? He said, I don't know. He said, then how can God be in heaven and still be walking on earth?
I was trying to answer a question, but I don't think I want to provide any answer to that.
You see, the reason why Jesus was on earth, but still said, whatever I see my Father do is what I want, is God. Jesus was God made flesh, but the Spirit of God was still over in heaven. God was a spirit. God is a spirit. And so Jesus was born through the flesh. The Bible said, the angel visited Mary and said, you shall bear for this, and you shall call his name this and that. I said, how can this? He said, the Spirit of God shall overshadow you, and what I've spoken to you will come to pass. So Mary conceived Jesus by the flesh. But as much as the flesh was existing, there was the spirit part of Jesus. So every human being, you are not just a human being. We all die. Now, if we die, where would we go to? If I have a dream and I see you in the dream, Mr. Abbas, if I see you in a dream, is it you I saw? Yes, but you were on your bed sleeping. Does it mean you were a witch or you were a wizard? No. There are so many people who have spiritual girlfriends and spiritual boyfriends. They are not
so okay. I mean, they are hanging in there.
Hanging around.
So at any point in time, you're my spiritual girlfriend. I feel like coming, and it comes around.
You see, you can even see this when we come to the same things. You realize that sometimes in marriages, you realize that there's some people who can be married and yet they don't find their wives or their husband attractive. You have to even beat them before you make love to them. You have to struggle because spiritually somebody already satisfies them.
One will ask that what causes? I mean, what makes it possible for any spirit to have access to our wonderful women, or vice versa?
Now, one of the things that I've realized that causes this thing is, the first cause is premarital sex. Sleeping with somebody physically that you don't know. Now, we are all not human beings.
You say we are all not human beings.
I remember, I'm being very around 1993, I was at the beach. I wasn't then born again. And I saw with my own eyes 2 ladies coming from the sea with a taxi.
Excuse me.
And
excuse me, you want to say that again? You saw a taxi
on the sea.
On the sea.
It
means that there was a road, that has come out of the sea, and 2 ladies were coming in the taxi. Did they have a driver?
I didn't see the driver. So I saw that because the ladies were more charming, so I couldn't just get interested in the taxi or whether there was a driver.
The man of God is sending chills in my spine.
It wasn't only me who saw this. And here was I as an unbeliever. I went with about 4 guys, and we all wanted these 2 ladies. And at the end of the day, one of my friends who had a car won one of the lady, and we sent her to one hotel somewhere to the lady.
Oh, after seeing
the lady
from the taxi from the sea, you still wanted there.
It was even hot because this one, in our ignorance, we said, wow. We were so excited about something from the sea, and their beauty was so captivating. So we talked to one of the ladies, and one of them said she has a relative at one of the suburbs of the beach, and so we should go there and talk. So I and my friend and the lady, we drove to the place, and my friend had time with the lady. They kissed, everything. I was a loser because I wasn't that financially strong.
Okay.
But he was financially strong. So the lady said the following day we should come over and then we can really talk. The following day we went, the place was a bush.
Where they took you?
Was a bush. I mean, there wasn't any building there. Now, imagine you meet somebody like this, you don't know the person. And say you've gotten a date. You meet a prostitute on the street. You meet somebody because of your appetite. You sleep with the person. 2, the person you want to sleep with, maybe the person already has a spiritual marriage or has been taken from water. Some people go to charms through juju and things for things, and they have certain covenants with certain spirits, and you don't know. And you make love to them. The Bible says anybody that you sleep with, you become one soul with the person. So now whenever you enter into premarital sex, or even when you go through marriage and you don't go through counseling and prayer and through deliverance, it can lead to spiritual marriage.
Even if you do it with condom?
Yes. It's not, let me tell you, David and Jonathan were friends not based on sex, but they were intimate friends based on their convictions. And yet the Bible said their soul was together. You see, anybody you see more than twice, thrice a day, you can develop a soul tie with the person. It's not about sex alone. So many people just get into certain soul ties, and you realize that when a person is no more with you, you feel like there's a vacancy. Something is missing. So we should even be careful with the kind of friends, the kind of people we associate with. That's what the Bible says, do not yoke together with an unbeliever. It's not just talking about the faith. It's just talking about what they do. So it can lead to covenants, which can lead to spiritual marriage.
This is interesting. We are all not human beings, and that's what frightens me the most. Because you may meet people, some may be extremely nice to you, and you want to reciprocate.
There are human beings who are like angels, and there are human beings who are also like demons. Let me be very frank. There are so many agents in the world. Let me give you something. In around 1995, the Lord opened my eyes, and I saw demons who had come in the form of prostitutes who had gone around, and their aim was to sleep with people. And let's take it that this lady sleeps with me. He transfers the demon to me. Now the demon is now transferred from me. I also make love to somebody else. It transferred to the next person. The next person, now we are moving from.
Then they are multiplying.
You can just imagine how fast they move. So the demons spread like HIV.
Oh God, have mercy.
You see, that's why we should be able to watch our sexual habits.
Okay.
Basically,
we're trying to identify some of the things that makes it easy for the spiritual or the spirits, evil spirits for that matter, to get contact with those of us humans. And I was developing a point. I mean, you meet somebody, the person is generally nice, and you also nice to the person. How is it, how is it possible for you to know that, man, this is not the right spirits? For all you know, you are a gentleman searching. You're searching, and once you see the person is so calmly, you want to, as it were, begin something, and then you start a relationship.
Say the Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the sons of God. You see, I don't play with my feelings at all, because if I move with anybody, I pray to God that God show me or lead me into what I'm in.
Pastor, thank God for you. You hear from God. The things that you are telling me that you have seen before, I don't know, and I haven't also seen before. But there are some people
about me being a man of God.
Yes,
but it's about me being a child or a son of God. We are all supposed to give our life to Jesus, and as many as received Him, He gave them power to become sons of God. Okay. So when you become a son of God, whenever you meet anybody who is a son or a daughter of God, your spirit must bear witness to. And sometimes if your spirit does not bear witness to at all, we have conscience and we have things people do that that I have cause to. If you are working with me, Mr. Abose, and I see a lady and say, this lady, if I get her, it will be nice, and I'm married, you should know very well that
then you are treading on the dangerous ground.
That such person working with can be. I don't need God to come down to come and tell me that friend I'm working with can lead me into sin.
Yeah, most definitely. But in this case, let's also talk about those people who have not come to the realization of knowing Christ.
That's why it's very important you listening to me give your life to Jesus Christ in the first place. But if you have not even given your life to Jesus Christ and yet you want to know the truth, pray to the Father, talk to God, and search your spirit. You see, God has given all of us a conscience, and we know what is good, what is bad, and what is ugly. At least even when I wasn't even born again, when I'm stealing, at least I hear a voice say don't, and I hear somebody say do.
This thing I'm going to do is bad, but still something is pushing you to do it.
Even then, God in one way or another was speaking to us.
Yes. Yes.
And yet we went our own way and we were punished.
Now, Pastor, we are just trying to identify some of the things that, makes it possible, for the spirit beings to, get contact with us. You just mentioned one as premarital sex, and then what?
There are others. They are contact with fetishism, like you go to the shrine and you want either a child or you want them to help you with any other thing. They can be that contact, that covenant also can develop.
Especially those who are very desperate. For years. They keep...
it's either for money, for a child, or for favors, or for a job, or for anything, even for
power.
To play good football, or even to have... Some pastors even do it. For whatever reason. I mean...
All right, so at least you also know about it.
Oh, yeah. That's what we can talk about.
All right.
And apart from contact with fetishism, we also have sleeping with children from other spirits. Like somebody goes to a shrine that I want a child, and the shrine gives a child in a way. I'll come to that later because no shrine can give a child. The children are gotten from the spiritual marriage. When you give birth spiritually, the children are taken and they are given to those who come to the shrine for the children. That's why when you go to the shrine, you develop a covenant with them. They sleep with you to provide a shrine with children because the devil cannot provide children, and your children are given.
Children, Bible says that children are a gift from God.
Yeah, who come to the shrine. So now, imagine somebody is giving to the shrine to you, to somebody, and then you go and say, I'm in love with such a person. You are getting yourself into another thing altogether, a new covenant altogether. And then we also have through pornography, which is be it picture or be it through film or through whatever, any form of pornography. I mean, so many people are bound, and they even watch the film and they enter into the film. They watch the picture and the picture.
You know that type of thing, it sends very, very strong signals.
Yeah. Seriously, because
and you're saying that the kind of signals that it sends is the evil spirit.
The evil spirit. You see, anything that does not glorify God glorifies the devil. There's no middle line in this world. There's nothing like middle lane. I don't know why people brought this thing in this world. It's either God or the devil.
But there's an English language called neutral.
Neutral. Even with the neutral, it either goes with one of them.
Yeah. Yes. So you can keep a neutral lane and still have God.
That's what the Bible said. I wish you were either hot nor cold, but because you're neither of these, I'll spew you out of my mouth. God doesn't like people who are neither of these. God likes you to be hot or cold. So if you are one day with God and the following day with the devil, God is not interested in you. God is only interested in those who are already in his camp. So now when people are watching pornography, ask yourself, what are you gaining out of watching pornography?
I mean, I've listened to a couple of people. Some said, well, they didn't know it's a sin, but they have managed to keep themselves all through their young womanhood, and now that they have entered marriage, they are quite novices, when it comes to, fulfilling their conjugal duties and all that. Because of that, yes, and they wanted to find out a couple of skills.
And let me tell you this. If you look at the children which are being brought out of Egypt in Exodus chapter 32, the Bible said they were all naked and God got very angry. And God said to Moses, "Go down, your people." Earlier God had told Moses that my people, go and set my people free. Now, when God saw them naked, dancing in the harlotry, God said, "Now they are no more my people." And how can you be watching people who are naked? I mean, let's look through the Bible. Noah's children one of the children saw him in the one naked, and Noah got angry and cursed. And it came to pass. There's something about nakedness. There's something about it's the privacy. That's why when man sinned, man found that he was naked. Because God even does not want us to know our weakness, our nakedness. So if God even did not want us to know our nakedness, it's through sin that we came to see our nakedness. Why should I be bothered about somebody's nakedness? And be suffering in my dress when the person is...
Pastor, in this case, I just told you that, well, he's looking for some skill to be able to...
What kind of skill are you looking for that you cannot get from your partner and by you educating each other?
Yes, I mean, the hypothetical situation, the two of them...
You don't want to go for marital counseling because...
But of course, marital counseling...
In churches, we do that this time. We talk to people, we teach them what to do biblically. Look, we read the Songs of Solomon, do this, let your right hand lie at my right hand. And I mean,
the Songs of Solomon.
Yeah, the Bible.
So instead of going to watch pornographic material, just go read the Songs of Solomon and you enjoy.
You can even read it and not get so much because you see, you can read and cannot have an understanding until somebody who has been educated by the Holy Ghost in that area can sit you there and then teach you and help you to understand some things about marriage.
Maybe as we go on, would educate those who have this line of thinking, on the alternatives, of wanting to satisfy their partners and all
they
that.
cannot have children now. Their marriages are on the rock. They when they go to church, they hold hands, but in the bed, one is facing the left and one is facing the right. Tonight it will happen. Some people, they will go to tomorrow when they will go to church, but
tonight
in the bed, one is facing north, one is facing south, and yet they are believers.
God help us. Now, are there any more points, with regard to this particular one? We're still establishing how easy. I mean, what makes it feasible for the spirit world to come marry, that those of us who are living.
I think for now we will adjust with it, but there are so many causes that people can have through to have this spiritual marriage, apart from the premarital sex, children from other spirits, and contact through fertility.
Pastor, sometimes I like you to draw the distinctions. Which ones are being caused, spiritually? And which ones are the natural occurrences?
Every natural occurrence is caused by God or the devil.
I mean, this is where you throw me off the gear.
It is God that causes us both to will and to do of his good pleasure.
Yeah.
And it's God that will cause me to do what I'm doing, or the devil will cause me to do what I'm doing. How could the devil not cause? Look at Peter. Peter goes to Jesus and says, "Oh, Jesus, don't die. How can you die? A whole Messiah like that?" Look at the miracle. And just say, "Satan, get thee behind me." What is Satan about what Peter said? There is no Satan about what Peter said. I think this was a very good advice and a friendly one. But Jesus foresaw behind that what Peter was saying was not of God. Earlier on, Peter had said, "Thou art the Son of the living God." And Jesus said, this one the Holy Ghost spoke through you. He didn't say it was based on your thinking. We are ruled by two forces. It's either God or the devil. And there's no middle line, as I said earlier. So it's either God is controlling you or the devil is controlling you.
Wonderful. Now, I wanted to deal with this thing real very quickly. There are some sicknesses. Sicknesses has great names. Some osteosclerosis. Some. I mean, so many of them. Fibroids. You have the cancers. And all that. Now, some people may have entered marriage, or they are living their normal life, and then they'll be carrying some of these sicknesses around and all that. Does that mean that is because they had some spiritual ties?
Yeah, there are so many sicknesses that come about through spiritual marriage. Now I'll explain the causes very soon as I list them first. One of them is you get pregnant but cannot deliver. There are some I've seen people who are pregnant for 15 months and they cannot give birth. I've seen recently somebody called me all the way from London who had a case. She has been pregnant for 11 months and she could not give birth. And the doctors wanted to operate on her. And she said the mother said no. So the mother had to board a plane from here to London to where the child was. And they called me and I prayed. And I gave them 2 hours. The child will come forth. And it came to pass. And there are so many people. I know one of my pastors, even the mom carried him for 3 years in the womb. 3 years.
Yes.
And there are people who have these cases, and all is under the same thing of spiritual marriage. And there are also people who always get pregnant, but they have miscarriages. It's also a result of that. And then also there are
as a result of spiritual marriage.
There are those who don't get pregnant at all. And then for the men, we have low sperm count and then sexual weakness. They are all under. I know a man of God who listened to me on one of the radio networks when I was preaching, and he said the wife left him because he could not perform as a man. And the wife left him to go and stay with the family because he said he was useless.
He was wasting time.
He decided to leave his church one Sunday and visit me at church. He said, just as he got to the junction, Malam, the power of
that
God
descended.
Came, and all of a sudden, he came to church testifying. And I said, go home and look for your wife.
and
the wife tried to see if it's true. And the wife saw that it was true. Marriage was reconciled.
Oh, God. Well...
You see, and apart from these two, you realize that people also have promise and fail, as I said, in their marriage. And then let's come to the sickness. Fibroid, and then cancer, and then deformity of the face, the hair. Some people, women, young ladies, their hair don't grow. Their hair is always breaking. And then the physical weakness, there are always people who are always tired. Now, if you have a lot of sex in a dream, how wouldn't you be always tired and you can't go to work? You're always weak, low blood. You don't have energy in you. You are anemic. But the work you do, nobody can do it by day. So by day, by night, the job you've done, you can't do it by day.
You are overworked.
You also have people who have menstrual abnormalities. Now, let's not take them a little. How can somebody have, let's say, cancer and then fibroid through spiritual marriage? And I'll come to realize that most spiritual fibroid and cancer have been caused either by the people themselves, not by the spirits.
But
the people themselves, or by, I'll call it, inexperienced men of God.
No, so, I mean, you want to explain this thing?
I'll explain this.
How can an inexperienced man of God cause a cancer?
See, when a woman gets into sexual intercourse with a spirit, she should get pregnant. And when she gets pregnant, in the process of time, the baby is removed. And this brings you see, I've had cases whereby people get pregnant and the doctor will tell them they don't see anything. Yes. And recently, I was on air preaching at one of the radio network. When I was talking to somebody who called me, I went straight to the hospital and I commanded, and the stomach just bulged up back again. Because spiritually, the enemy can come and remove the pregnancy from your womb.
So that the doctor won't see. Because it's theirs anyway.
Yeah, it's there. So they use it for any sacrifice. But in a spiritual one, whereby you have you dream that you are pregnant. Now, when you dream that you are pregnant, they have to take, and in the process of time, they will take the baby from your womb and use it for two things: either to give it to somebody else, or to use it as a blood sacrifice. Now, when it happens that you come to find out and you go to church or you want to pray for deliverance, and you just come, I break, I bind, I break, I bind, I break, I bind. You can break and bind, fair. Now the spirit, let's say the spirit is destroyed or the spirit goes away, but the pregnancy is still there. Mr. Abose, if you get your wife impregnated and you decide not to marry her again, will the pregnancy vanish?
Definitely not.
No. So when you break the covenant and you don't do it well, the covenant will be broken, but the pregnancy will
still have your baby.
And that is when the pregnancy stays in the womb as a kind of growth at the womb, and then the doctor will tell you have a fibroid, and they will remove the fibroid through operation, and it will
come again
because it's a spirit. It is a spirit. And now let's get deeper.
Well, you heard it from Reverend F.D. Yalley. Fibroid is no natural thing; it's a spirit, and that is why it keeps coming.
And more blacks have fibroid than whites.
More blacks have fibroid than whites, and what's the rationale behind that? Because our background,
fetish.
The spirits like the black ladies more than the like.
We love certain things. We love certain things, like we love the fetish and what a Christian will be born again, and at every year we'll go back to the background and renew covenants and come back to church, and they'll tell you that tradition is tradition. And you just say you have made the law of God of none effect by the traditions of your men. Now let me go a little bit into cancer. Especially the cancer of the breast. I have a case where a woman had a cancer of the breast in year 2000. And men of God said she was not going to make it. Doctors declared her dead. They were putting life support on her. And they told the child, the son, that let us remove the life support, because no matter what, your mom is going to die. And
most of the cases, I mean, the cancer cases, the doctors are, so
breast
bold.
Has shrunk.
It has become very small.
Small. And this woman had sown seeds, had done everything. Men of God have taken everything they could take, and then she had fallen. Finally, she fell into a coma. And then the son called me from US and said, Pastor, when I was in Ghana with you, we were going through crusades. We saw God use you to do healing. And the guy provoked me. Can't my mother be well? And I pray for the mother, to the glory of God, from the year 2000 till today. As we are talking about 2005, getting 2006. It was in 2005 February. 2000 February till now, the woman is still alive. What happened? It was a spiritual case of cancer. Now, when you have the spiritual marriage, any woman who gets pregnant, your breast develops milk.
Yes, naturally.
And when the milk stays in you, milk stinks. And milk becomes like maggots, if I should put it that way. After a period, it develops itself. So when the milk stays in you longer, it begins to break down your immune system. And it begins to eat into your entire body. And this woman I'm talking about, when we prayed for her, when she got healed of the cancer, her breast came back to normal straight away. she got healed. They've not, and right now in a hospital in New Jersey, they are using her for a test, and every time she comes on, they give her money because the doctors feel. I remember when I prayed for her after 30 minutes, I told them to call me back, and they called me, and the doctor said she had low blood, the reverse of high blood, and there was so many things were not going on well in her life. She had lost her memory, everything, and then she came back to her senses. And I think when she came back to her senses, she said the first she said was Psalm 6. Because she didn't know who was praying, and then she opened her eyes, and the doctor took the phone and said, who are you? And I said, I am so Rev Yalley. He said, is it African magic? I said, no, this is Jesus' power. I said he doesn't believe those things. Then they called me back after 30 minutes from US to tell me that her sugar level have risen too much. I prayed too much.
So you should pray and then bring it down. Oh, isn't God wonderful?
And you see, so when the milk stays in you, the milk begins to deform parts of the body.
Yeah.
And
because it was now spoiled.
It was now spoiled.
You have broken.
The baby was supposed to. That's why the women who have dreams of spiritual, they can have dreams whereby babies are sucking their breast.
Yeah.
And when babies are sucking your breast, it can also even develop. So most of it, if the deliverance is not time is
complete.
Not taken, and it's not made complete. And some people, they come to church, they will go, Pastor, pray for me. They pray for them. They shout, they scream, they go back and they commit the same sin that led they live through premarital sex. They go through all the things and the spirits come back again. So most of it, me personally, before I'll pray for anybody, I'll tell you how ready are you. Say, Pastor, I'm ready. I'll tell you, come to church. Serve God. Go to your church. I can even tell you to go to your church. But I want to see that you are really going to serve God for people. Because Bible said, do not cast your pearls before swine. There's some people, they just want to be delivered and then go back to the same old thing. And whenever you do that same thing, you cause your own problem. Sometimes the minister does it. Sometimes you also cause your own problem.
Reverend F.D. Yalley is the person you're listening to right now. And, it's really... giving us very, very insights of teachings, on the spiritual marriage thing. And I'm going to be very careful who I talk to and all that. But, I mean, it doesn't mean that we should just go calling people because we see people in our dreams, the moment you see them, say, sure, I saw you in my dream. What are you doing?
Most often, you see, I don't want...
And that's what I mean by you draw the balance.
Yeah, it's not everybody you see in your dream that is the person who you saw. Per se. You see, that's why every dream has its own explanation by context. It's not the fact that you see a dream, it doesn't mean it's everything. Because if you come to me and tell me you have a dream, let's say somebody is sleeping with you, I might look at it from a different angle based on the context of the dream, differently from somebody's own, because we are not coming from the same place. And we are not having there can be the same devil with, but different angles of operation. So it's not just about, as soon as you have this dream, and you have a spiritual marriage, you are going to break it and whatever. No. But you realize that the same things are there. The physical things are there to tell about. You realize the disappointment, there's childlessness, there's the fibroid, there is the people promise and fail, jobs don't go, contracts. Look, a man had been in business for over 30 years as a contractor, no contract. A contractor with no contract.
I mean, you don't have the name.
By the grace of God. Now the contracts came and he couldn't even do anything with them. He had to sublet them. Now the problem came again when the contracts had come. The people to pay them and they were not paying. So we had to take him through another kind of prayer. And now, oh God, this man can stand on his 2 feet and can testify and say the Lord is good.
No, but Pastor, I want you to, talk a bit about this cancer and fibroid stuff. Now, you made mention of the fact that it often happens as a result of, inexperienced pastors and all that. For those of us who are not pastors, who come to these pastors because we think that we have a problem. We think that we have a problem and that, a man of God should help you through it and all that. I mean, how am I able to know that, well, after I am delivered, I am going to, develop a cancer or a fibroid or for that matter, any other, incurable disease?
It's not that after you are delivered. Sometimes even it is because the spirit will not have access to take the baby from your womb to the other world.
Yes, so what it means,
through your own fasting or on your newfound faith,
because you have become a Christian, or if you like, because you have restated your stance in Christ, they are not able to have access to you again. Yet what they have in you is still there.
That's why people should not just break covenant; they should cast out those spirits and tell them.
But during the prayers, Pastor, you would agree with me that we, when you are here, we cast you out in the name of Jesus.
Multitude, go.
So if you say one go, then it's only one who will go.
Sometimes you can say go, but you, the man of God, maybe in your subconscious mind, you are not just saying go. You are saying go, pack yourself and go. So all plays a role, which is a new topic on itself when we come to pastoral teachings, because deliverance in itself is not. You can hear a man of God say go. Get out. But a man of God's communication with the demon is something you might not understand. It's not just saying go. It's maybe saying pack your bag and baggage and go. But the way and manner the people do it, the men of God do it, is very, very important. Sometimes you can just see somebody who comes in with a spiritual marriage, you just lay your hands, I bind every spirit, I bind every demon in the name of Jesus, you pack yourself and go. And maybe the spirit is not gone, but you assume it's gone. Or maybe the spirit is gone, but still has bits and pieces and so many. So now there's, like, let me give an example. If you really get somebody delivered, you lay hands and the person gets delivered. After the person is delivered, one of the things you ask the person is that, how do you feel? If the person still feels heavy, it's not the deliverance is not yet complete. Totally, if the person is really free, where the person is light and it feels that a burden has been lifted. So these are some of the which goes into pastoral trend.
Okay, so basically you are talking about the levels of the pastors, if you like, the gifting, the grace upon you, and the giftings that we have. So basically, there are some people, or there are some pastors, for that matter, who would not be able, to see into the spiritual, as to see into the spiritual and cast completely, cast completely and then save somebody.
Not even the ability to see to the spirit world. As long as you know that this is the problem, you can still cast it if you have the grace to do it. It's not just about seeing. Thank God we see.
Some people don't have the grace to do it.
But it's not all who have the grace to do it. I'm being very frank.
Okay.
And sometimes, these days, everybody is a pastor, and these days, everybody is a prophet. As long as we can see two cockroaches fighting each other, we are men of God.
Can see people's panties and all that.
But we
and mention it on air.
It goes beyond what you see. I'm being very frank. And I used to be bothered about, I throw my hands and all the people are on the floor. I go beyond falling under the power. You fall and you get up and you are still the same.
And you are still the same.
We are talking about what entered you and what came out of you. What did you receive? So many healings take place at my meetings. And when the healings take place, I love them to test. Sometimes I myself say, it's not true. Check it for me. Give me a doctor's report. Go down, bend down, rise up. Let me see. Because the whole thing is not about flesh. And it's not about what you can do, but what God is able to do. I believe that. God also uses us as human beings. But there comes a time you realize that the person who is doing the work doesn't have any knowledge. Paul, I know.
Who
are you? And
who are you?
You are casting those spirits out. You are like, you just hit the surface and the person screams, man, I'll go. Then you say, hey, everybody's so excited. Hey, the demon is manifesting. And then you say, I'm cool. Demon telling you, cool.
And you believe.
Telling you, he's gone.
and you believe.
You are like, oh, okay. And it's very interesting because it goes beyond that. If the demon is gone, let the person tell you that I'm healed. Let the disappointments go. It's what happens in the physical that tells you that the person is delivered. It's not what happens in the spiritual anymore. If you really believe that something good has happened in the spiritual, let us see in the physical, the testimonies. If I say be healed, and you are still with a case of fibroid, then you are not healed. I don't know whether you are getting me. So if it happens in the spiritual and it happens in the physical, when you change the spiritual, it's supposed to take place in the physical.
This is deep. Well, you can send your text messages through 0244-697701. That's 0244-697701. Well, Pastor, at this point, I want you to give somebody out there a sense of encouragement. Let the person know that, whether his or her case is useless or his or her case has a remedy at all.
Yeah. I will tell you that first and foremost, you need to do the following if you want to be delivered from these things. The first thing I want to tell you is that 1, do not commit adultery, do not commit fornication. 2, stop seeing, reading pornographic material. Then 3, give your life to Jesus. You see, let Jesus be your Lord and then your Savior, not just your Savior, but your Lord, someone who controls you. Because if the God does not control you, the devil will control you. And then the next one I will tell you, join a local church, join a local church. This is very, very important to me. And then play a role in the church. And then the last one is that have a local pastor. There are so many people who are pastors on radio these days, but they don't have a local pastor.
Radio pastor,
and,
yeah.
You know, I always say that even Jesus, when Herod wanted him dead, Jesus had to go to Joseph. Joseph had to be told by God that protect Jesus until Herod is dead. So even in our own world, even Jesus Christ needed what? A protector, somebody to handle him until he was matured enough to handle his own affairs. So I believe no matter who you are, you also need somebody who can be able to say, how are you? What is your prayer life? And so on. But you know, people go to church these days and they don't play any role in church. And so their spiritual life doesn't build up. Because if you don't play any role in church, you never know what they are using in feeding you. I always use this example of Jesus' first miracle where he turned water to wine. The Bible said when he entered the place, there was no wine. And when there was no wine, something drastic happened. Mary came and said, blah, 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 and he said, whatever he tells you, do it. And then Jesus told the servants, the Bible said the servants. Servants are those who do service they are the prayer warriors, they are the singers, they are the ushers, they do something in the church. He said, serve and put water into the vessels. And then they poured water into the vessel. When they poured the water into the vessel, the Bible said, he told them, serve the guests. Serve those who came to visit the church. And the people were drinking water, turned wine. He said, where from this wine? But the servants were the only one who knew that the people were drinking water. So you will never know what the church is drinking, what you are drinking, until you are really a part of what is going on. So if you join a local church, don't just go there and I came to see and be. And this day, they are lay hands on me and pray for me. And no, be part of what is happening. If it is not even your church, and sometimes I have cases where pastors will come and say, this is my daughter, this is my son, I recommend him, pray for him. And maybe I know pastors who bring their wives who have cancer cases and fibroid cases, and I have to pray for them. And it's area. Doctors, there are those who work on teeth, and there are those who work on nose, those who work on eyes. Men of God, everybody has his grace. If you don't have it, you cannot fight for somebody. There are some things other men of God have. I don't have it, and I have to make them my friends in order to enjoy it from them. So everybody has his area of ministration. But you don't just go and say, I've come, deliver me, I have spiritual marriage, so I've come for deliverance. And they lay hands on you, go home and you do whatever you want to do, and that thing comes back more powerful, more painful, and you're like, Pastor, I didn't see anything. You will see anything.
All right. So, I mean, what you definitely will see. Reverend F.D. Yalley. Now, you know, I want to start concluding right now, but before I do that, there are people in the church. There's so many people in the church who have they've been in the church for a long time. They do some of these things that you're just talking about, service and the church, you know. But they sometimes some of them have this challenge, you know, that we're talking about. I mean, what this is it.
I want to say something. There's a saying I say in my church: if your church does not change, you change your church. This is deep.
You want to say that again?
If your church does not change, you change your church. I heard it from a convert. And it stuck in my... Because look, I'm being very frank here.
And okay.
You might be in a church, but meanwhile, a servant is not greater than his master.
Yeah.
And you might be serving under something which cannot bless you. That cannot help you. That cannot assist you. And in my place, I'm being very frank. I told people that, look, if you come, everything I tell you, you do it. I give you 1 year, your life must change. If your life must not change, you either change or I change you. Because I don't see why we should obey this word of God and we don't see good success. But said, if you are willing and you're obedient, you shall eat the fruit of the land. And God is not wicked. But notice there are so many people who are in the church, they might be prayer warriors, but they are gossips. And they are receivers of complaints. They might, on the outward, they might be working for God, but and in the inward, they are working for man. I mean, this church, this one, nobody gives me anything. We are the one who have been praying about the pastor. Look at the pastor having 10 cars. Only me, I've been working on this one. You are complaining.
Oh, so if you mama in the church, you won't receive.
Even God did not allow the children of Israel to go to the promised land because they were murmuring. He should have taken them 40 days to get the promised land. It took them 40 years because of one thing. They murmured and they complained. So you might see it on the surface. So many people have developed some spirits while they're in the church. And so they are using ministry as an outward form of covering their heart. And the Bible says, if I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord God will not hear me. Yeah, and the Bible also says, grieve not the Spirit of God in which you have been sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, and evil spirit. If I'm angry with you, God is angry with me. Is that what I say? If I have a case with you, God has a case with me. Your problem with man becomes a problem with God. So people are in church, they're in their choir, they won't talk to each other. Some people even they don't talk to their pastors, and yet me, I'm serving God, but I come to church.
Oh, I mean, basically, what you're talking about is that, yes, if you are going to church, or if you have come to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, and you now belong to a local church, you have a pastor, then there's more to it. And what is more to it is what?
Is that you must once open your heart and serve. One, apart from giving your life to Jesus, you must open your heart and serve.
That is deep. But if your church does not change you, change your church. And I don't think that colleague pastors will take kindly.
People will not
take kindly to it at all.
Be very frank. I've been to some.
I think I have to change your name to Frank.
Francis means free-minded. Anyway, it's the same thing. But let me tell you this. Most often, I can remember most people are real prayer warriors who are really praying. They're often the ones who often don't get married. And they're often those who are also not having problems. Because let me tell you this.
Yes.
You might be in a church and you might not be getting what you need. One, because if you pray, prayer is a spiritual work. But you might pray and see yourself in dreams. You are driving cars, be in a nice mansion, but you are not prospering. Why? Because when whatsoever a man soweth, that is what you reap. If you sow prayer and you don't sow money,
you won't reap.
You don't reap.
You reap
prayer.
Money. You become a prayer warrior.
Most prayer warriors are also stingy.
Okay. Please, this man.
It will shock you. Most people in church, pastors don't give offering. I'm telling you, the members will give the offering. You see, the pastors will not give tithe. They will not give offering.
And then they'll be standing.
Especially the associates and the deacons and whatever. They are the receivers. And it's more blessed to give
than to receive. So those of us who want financial breakthroughs, huge ones, and we are claiming people's cars and, people's helicopters, Rolls Royce and all that, you have to start by doing what? Sowing, first and foremost. So because whatever a man soweth, that also shall he reap. His name is Reverend F.D. Yalley. Francis, the D is what? Dwayne. Okay, so Francis Dwayne Yalley, and he's the senior pastor of Bridge Ministries International. The program has been Repairers Moment, that is, and I have been your uncle. I just want to start running away right now, but before I do that, probably your final comments.
I want you to believe God for anything that is in your heart, and just be faithful to God. Serve God out of a pure heart, and I believe He will cause your desires to come to pass.
Do you wake up feeling exhausted and wet? Or do you see pregnancy and children in your dreams? Do you wake up feeling someone has slept with you before a major contract or breakthrough? Then here is the solution to your problems. Reverend Francis Dwayne Yalley's new book titled Sleeping with an Enemy blends intense spirituality with basic life principles to deal with these problems that confront the children of God. Watch out for copies in a shop near you.
Today, God has reached out His hand to you in the message brought to you by Reverend Francis D. Yalley of Bridge Ministries International. It is our prayer that you grasp it firmly, for that same power that raised Jesus from the dead will quicken your mortal body. Visit Bridge Ministries International. For further inquiries, call 0244 697701 or 026 7372 477.